It's 11:47 p.m. You're standing in front of your freezer, clothed in pajama pants and questionable judgment. You reach for the pint of Ben & Jerry's chocolate caramel cookie dough ice cream. But before the spoon cracks the topped layer of chocolate ganache and caramel, let's take a little trip back not just to the factory floor or the dairy farm, but even further. Our story starts way back in 1978 at a gas station in Vermont, with two guys who have a $5 course on ice cream making under their belts and absolutely no idea what the fudge they're doing. That pint in your hand? It's the current chapter of a story that started with a failed pottery career, a broken nose, and a childhood asthma diagnosis, and those two guys. So what if I told you that Ben Cohen, co-founder of the most successful ice cream brand and one of the most successful food brands of all time, couldn't smell or taste? Not really. Years of sinus trouble, a broken nose. The result? Ice cream, for him, wasn't about flavor, it was about feel. Texture, big chunks, chunky bites. Jerry Greenfield was the opposite. A detail-oriented science nerd with a soft spot for sweetness. Pre-med dropouts, best friends since junior high gym class, no money, no plan. Just $5 and a correspondence course on making ice cream. They rented a dilapidated gas station in Burlington, Vermont. Scooped by hand. Posted flavor menus with chalk. And when they ran out, that was it for the day. No next batch, no night shift. Yet people lined up anyway. But here's what matters. Even back then, the process was intimate, intentional. The goal wasn't just profit, it was joy. Ridiculously indulgent joy. And that's one ingredient that remains in how every single pint of Ben & Jerry's is still made today. But with his partial anosmia, for Ben, flavor took a backseat to texture. And that's why your pint of chocolate fudge brownie has actual brownies in it. Not traces, not essence, but full, chewy chunks of rich, decadent chocolate fudge brownies. That signature style, massive add-ins, unrepentant richness, wasn't just some brand gimmick. It was an adaptation and proof that necessity is indeed the mother of invention. And as it turned out, it was the very thing that made everyone love their ice cream from the get-go. Fast forward, today's ice cream still follows that very same sensory philosophy. The factories now use industrial chunk injectors. Yes, it's a real thing. To ensure that each pint contains a generous helping of whatever confectionery chaos it promises on the label, all born of Ben's original flaw. But how do we get from this homemade hit to a mass-produced global sensation without losing that special small batch goodness that makes B&J what it was and still is today? Well, to find out, let's fast forward to the factory floor inside their present-day Waterbury, Vermont facility, one of the original Ben & Jerry's production plants still operating today. It's kind of fitting that it looks like Willy Wonka's sensible cousin built it. Massive stainless steel tanks, labyrinthine pipes, and endless vats of base mix made from hormone-free milk sourced from Vermont and eastern New York farms. First, raw milk and cream are blended with liquid cane sugar, egg yolks, and stabilizers. This mixture is pasteurized, heated to 170 degrees Fahrenheit to kill bacteria, then homogenized to evenly distribute the fat. It's then cooled to 38 degrees Fahrenheit and pumped into aging tanks, where it rests for up to 8 hours to allow the protein and fats to crystallize just right. This aging is what gives Ben & Jerry's its ultra-smooth texture. Once aged, the mix is moved to the flavor vats. Here, liquid flavors like vanilla extract or cocoa are added depending on the recipe. The mix is then rapidly frozen to a soft-serve consistency while being aerated, a process known as overrun. Unlike most commercial brands that pump in lots of air to increase volume, Ben & Jerry's keeps overrun low. More cream, less fluff. That's why it tastes so dense. Every batch starts with that same commitment to quality. Milk and cream are pasteurized, homogenized, and cooled. Next comes the mix-in phase, the flavor's identity. But unlike most commercial operations that use flavoring oils or tiny flecks to suggest complexity, Ben & Jerry's makes sure the real stuff is in there in abundance. And this is where we jump again, because that abundance isn't just about product, it's about principle. Back in the mid-1980s, long before ethical consumerism was a trending search term, Ben & Jerry's launched its first major socially responsible product, Rainforest Crunch. The nuts were sourced from sustainable rainforests. The idea was simple: ice cream that helped the planet. Financially, it flopped, but spiritually, it set the tone for everything that followed. The company built its entire manufacturing ethic around this. Today, their Caring Dairy program helps farmers implement better soil and animal care practices. They work with Greyston Bakery to source brownies for their ice cream, supporting formerly homeless or incarcerated individuals with stable jobs. But why does that matter to the production process? Because at Ben & Jerry's, how it's made isn't just mechanics, it's morality. Each scoop is a delivery vehicle for their values. Of course, ethics are crucially important, but let's be honest, if it doesn't taste amazing, no one cares. That's where the Flavor Lab comes in. Hidden in their South Burlington HQ is a Willy Wonka meets R&D paradise where flavor developers, yes, including chunk engineers, dream up your next midnight snack. The process is wild: brainstorms, small batch tests, employee tasting panels, and even public vote-ins. Remember Americone Dream? That was practically a democracy. It can take up to a year from idea to production. Why so long? Because it's not just about what tastes good. It's about what feels good, sounds fun, tells a story, and holds up through shipping, storage, and 6 minutes on your kitchen counter. Ice cream might be cold, but it's alive, and every bite has to perform. Let's jump again, not forward, but back to 1985. The company had just become profitable. Instead of cashing out, Ben & Jerry established a foundation. They kept their own salaries at 5 times that of the lowest paid employee. They baked social equity into their financial structure. Now jump forward again to your pint. That sticker on the lid that says Fair Trade, the sustainably sourced vanilla, the cage-free eggs, those aren't just afterthoughts. They're direct descendants of a gas station ice cream shop's moral compass. And that's why a pint of Ben & Jerry's still tastes like more than a dessert. It tastes like quality, innovation, and social responsibility, dressed as comfort food. Once a flavor passes the gauntlet, it moves to full-scale production. The mix is pumped into dynamic freezing barrels, massive machines that chill the ice cream base to about 22 degrees Fahrenheit in under 30 seconds while scraping the barrel walls to keep it smooth. And here's where the magic happens. While still semi-soft, the mix-ins are added. Chunk injectors, or chunk feeders as they're affectionately called, are calibrated by size and weight to ensure that brownies, cookie dough, peanut butter cups, or pretzels are distributed evenly. Too fast and the chunks clump. Too slow and the pint feels empty. Swirls like caramel, fudge, or marshmallow are piped in using separate nozzles, carefully layered to maintain the visual and textural contrast. After assembly, each pint is filled upside down to minimize air bubbles near the lid and preserve swirl placement. Pints are then conveyed through a spiral hardening tunnel, frozen to -20 degrees Fahrenheit in about 90 seconds. This flash freezing locks in the texture and structure, preventing ice crystal growth and keeping that first scoop perfectly creamy. By the time you grab that pint at 11:47 p.m., it's already traveled hundreds of miles, but the spirit inside it still hasn't moved far from Burlington, Vermont. So what's in your pint of Ben & Jerry's? Sure, milk, sugar, a swirl or 3, but also 2 hippies who turned failure into flavor, a production team that engineers joy by the gallon, a company that refuses to separate indulgence from impact. And if you still think it's just ice cream, well, guess you gotta give it another go and pop open another pint.